Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador. So excited to see you. It's a new week. And how was your weekend? Hopefully you're doing something fun, sewing, crafting, fishing. You know, it's that season going on. But today we've got a really fun project. May Flaum is here. You're going to love this. So say hi, say where you're from, and let's bring May to the party. May, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
So good, so good. So we were last week on the live shows, everyone was chatting about all the storms going through wherever they lived. So did you get hit by anything? Because we got belted.
We did one day. We just got random downpour.
There you go. Well, that's the best time to be in sewing and crafting. And I told everyone, I'm so excited you're here, by the way, and I cannot wait to see what you're working on. Last time you were on, we did a lot with the sublimation printer, gave us a lot of ideas of some things to do. So what are you doing today?
So today we're going to use the sublimation printer. There's, of course, the unpaid, the free stuff that ArtSpira offers, but there's also a whole wealth of things in the paid subscription as well. And today we're going to use a subscription pattern that's 2 parts. So, you know, I'm always looking for ways to use my Brother tools. And of course, the ScanNcut has been a long time favorite for what, a decade, something like that, a long time. So there's a number of patterns that work with both machines. And we're going to play with one of those today. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ideas for how to use it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we've got...
I'm just going to let them know we are live today because we haven't been for the last few times. So if you have questions, drop them in and I'll interrupt May periodically. But May, I'll just let you take it away.
Okay. So my sublimation printer, let me move my iron here. My sublimation printer is right back there. It actually normally lives on the shelf down below, but we've got it up here today so you can at least see that it's there in the background. And the way that it works, we'll go over to the tablet so we can get in ArtSpira here. The way that it's going to work is on ArtSpira, you can pull up all sorts of designs. And if you see the word combination, that means that it's going to be ScanNcut with, well, or I guess it could be sewing too, but in this case, it's ScanNcut plus printing. So it's telling you this is the size of the pattern. These are the pieces. Now, what I want to point out to you is if you like, let's say, I love that background. I love those colors. I think it's really fun, like ombre paint. You can just do the background part if you want it because they are going to cut separate. They are separate machines. So if we hit create, it's going to pull this up so you can really see what it's going to look like. You can tap, it says tap the object to edit. So if there's something you wanted to change, if there was an effect that you wanted to do, like you wanted to change the color around, if you wanted to crop it, or if you wanted to delete it. So you can do a couple of options with these combination ones. And then you're going to click done. And right up at the top, it's going to show you the 1 and 2. So when you're ready to cut, you're going to transfer, push that button and transfer over to the ScanNcut machine. When you're ready to print, you're going to want to make sure that your sublimation printer is showing up here. If you have any print settings you need. If you need the heat guide, if you click that, it'll help tell you what heat setting you would need. And then you just click print. And it's that fast and it's that easy. We're going to pull up over here. I've already got it. Now here's the thing on this one. You're not going to see much of anything there. In fact, I'm going to guess that my nice summer, we're already in summer weather here. My nice glare is going to especially help. A lot of these patterns, when we print them out, they're going to look very faded or almost not really there that much. Or like you're thinking it's supposed to be vibrant and it's not vibrant. What happened here? Just remember the sublimation printed it out onto the paper and it almost different than when you transfer it. So to transfer it, what we're going to do is we are going to take whatever piece, whatever material we're wanting. In this case, I've got this pillowcase here. And what you're going to want to do is set it down on your material. Now, if you want to measure, you can measure. That's up to you. And then you're going to get some heat safe, heat resistant, depending on what you call it. You're looking for, there's lots of different makers of it. but you're looking for tape that's designed for the high heat of sublimation. And everybody has a different preference here, but you're going to want to put your tape down. Personally, I like to make sure all 4 corners are secure. I also like to really press down and make sure it's as flat as possible. And the reason for this, when we are going to heat press something for sublimation, we do not want, and if you want examples, I know I showed some of my bloopers on a past show that we did. You do not want it to be able to wiggle, because what's happening essentially is when we press this down and transfer the pattern, if the paper wiggles, the pattern's going to blur during that process. So taping down is going to avoid having that happen. We don't want that to happen. So that's what the taping down is for. Then you're going to take a piece of paper such as this. This is just a roll of paper that I've got for sublimation. Put this on the top. And then we're going to pretend a heat transfer here, because I think if you've watched one of our previous sublimation shows, my heat press is not portable. It's very large, and it has to be on a very secure desk, which happens to be in the room next door. So it's over there, but basically pretend that my felt ironing mat is our heat press. When you're going to do the settings, the heat press is going to close over and press for however long, depending on the material. Remember that it's going to depend on what is your sublimation blank and how long and how hot is that recommended for transfer. So you're always going to want to click that heat guide if you're not sure. Then when you do all of this, we're going to do a little bit of a live show magic here, right? So when we do all this and we lift up, you're going to get something like that. So it's going to be there for you, all transferred and lovely. And this is kind of like a cream color material, and it looks pretty muted on here. I really like how soft it looks. If you went to and did the same exact thing, so same exact steps, nothing is different, but you did it on the bright white, you can see here how much brighter this is going to be on the, well, maybe you can see, hopefully you can tell, it's much brighter on the bright white. So that's something to remember too, is that the colors are going to be brighter on white always than they are going to be on a colored blank surface. So that's just something to think about if you care. Or if you want a more muted look, maybe don't do it on bright white, maybe do it on a different color. Another thing you can do, you know me, I like lots of ideas. So here's what I did. I wanted some coasters with this. So you can see I've got the coasters taped down. And you can also see, so this looks more vivid this time because it's already been through the cycle. Now, if I'm going to do something like this and parts of my design are showing, when I go to press this, so it's going to be face down so that the sublimation design is against the hot press that's going down. But I'm going to make sure there's paper underneath as well as above. And the reason is, you can see here, you see how the color transferred around where my coasters were? We don't want that color to transfer onto our heat press. So having a paper above and below in that kind of a circumstance is what we would recommend. And now, so look at this. This is what I was trying to mention about these bigger patterns or different patterns that we have, designs. Sometimes it can really just turn out very cool if it's partial, right? Like, aren't those cool?
I love those. I love those colors, Meg.
Yeah, so you could use pieces of it. If you wanted to get real fancy, or if you had something in mind, you could take that sublimation printed design. If you wanted to cut a shape out of it, you could cut the shape and then transfer it onto something smaller. I mean, you've got, oh, you know how unlimited these options become. So those are 3 different things. And if you're wondering, okay, but how do I know what I can transfer it onto? You're looking for sublimation blanks. If the product is a sublimation blank, it means that it is something that sublimation can transfer onto safely. So I'm trying to think of how many dozens of materials we've had to play with. There are just so many things you can put on there. I mean, I keep finding new ones. I found bookmarks the other day, sublimation bookmarks. I'm like, oh, well, okay, we can do sublimation bookmarks too. Now let's see. Now over on the ScanNcut, remember I showed you. Now let's see. I think we need to tilt it up a little. I'm going to go back home so I can show you that again. In retrieve data, remember we're sending everything from Artspira. This little cloud is always going to be where it sends to. And I'll just remind you, we can only have one pattern in there at a time. So if we're going to do this summer pattern, we need to use it. Or if you think, oh, cannot be saved. Oh, okay. I'm not sure why it can't be saved. But anyway, you would want to, if you had other patterns, maybe you were designing your own things, you would probably want to save them so that you can use them at a later time. Now for this, if I want to be able to see what it looks like, I can rotate it. And then if I'm going to heat transfer this, which we are, yep, my iron is on, I'm going to want to push the button in the middle, which turns it backwards. When we're doing heat transfer, we want that to be backwards. And I'm going to go ahead and use the design included. But keep in mind, because this is separate, if you have a different idea, so like let's say you wanted to put someone's name, or maybe instead of a word, you had a shape or a design. In fact, we'll do one of each. You could put something else on there. Now I'm going to move this up to the side. And then, whoops, that's right. You guys made it a little bit up there. There we go. I'm going to go say, okay. I'm going to say, okay. And then I'm going to click add. And we're going to go into patterns. I think I want to say no, it's not in the quilty ones. Where are you? Maybe the stencil-y ones. So we can go and add any pattern we like, any pattern we think of. It doesn't have to be a particular size or shape, or I mean, it can be whatever you want, right? Or whatever theme you would like. Okay, there, maybe it's down here. Let's see. I'm feeling picky here. I'm just like, I've got an idea in my head, and I think we'll use one of these. So I want something that's got like, oh, there we go, the butterfly. So size-wise, you can measure it. Sometimes I'll use my mat. I just happen to have a ruler right out. So this is 7 by 9. So you just want to kind of think about that scale-wise. How big do you want your design? I'm going to do it 5.5-ish set. Now the butterfly is not text, so it's up to us if we want to flip it or not. Because it's symmetrical, I don't really see a reason. It should be the same either direction. So we're going to get out our mat. I have a low tack adhesive mat. You could use either one. There we go. Okay, and then I've got I'm going to use glittery vinyl because I'm looking at this. This is another thing I really love about this. We do this information first always, but that means I can see it on whatever surface it is, and then go through and look at my different vinyls for my ScanNcut and decide what color I like. And as I was going through, I realized I really like the glitter. So we're going to glitter it.
I love that color. Oh my gosh, May.
Isn't that a fun color? I love this color. And every time I come up with a reason I've got to use this color, I'm always so happy. So I just rolled it out onto my mat, and I'll show you how we can make sure it's going to fit just right. But I've rolled it out onto my mat here, and it's pressed. And again, you could use a standard tack or low tack. It does not matter. Totally whatever works for you. And we are going to put this in here. Here we go. And it's going to load up. And I am going to hit this button right here to scan, just so we can make sure that I don't have anything where there's not materials to pick it up there. Oh, and now I find, so now I realize that my stylus was in the little drawer that it was supposed to be in this whole time. I was looking for that all day. That's okay. So I'm going to move these a little bit away. And if you wanted to, for any reason, remember that you can always, like if I wanted to scoot this around a little bit, I could. Okay. And we're just clicking OK all the way through. We're going to cut. And we want to make sure that it says half cut on. If it doesn't, you just press this button, scroll down, and turn half cut on. And the reason for that is so that we'll have it cut. It'll cut out the vinyl, but it's not going to cut out the backing material. So it's going to leave that backing material alone, which is good. That's what we want for sure on this one. Let me just grab my little pick as we go. This is going to be, I love how, I love how quiet this machine is, but these projects, they're just so much fun because I love being able to take the ideas and the creativity that's already right there in Artspira. And then I love that we're mixing and matching. We're mixing this machine with that machine, these patterns with those patterns. I mean, we're just customizing for whatever reason. Maybe we're having a party and we want some party decor, but we want it to be custom, or maybe we just want to switch things out seasonally or gifting. Whatever you're up to, we're going to be able to customize and make something fun. So we get the creativity, and then everyone around us gets the benefits, of course. Oh, and I love how easy it all makes it with the machine. I can just hear it whirring away, doing its job. So nice and quiet.
Everyone's popping in to say hi, May, while we're watching all of the.
It's so good to be here. I always love our shows. We always have so much fun.
I know everybody's saying I love it. Julie loves her sublimation printer. There's a few people that have it on their bucket list. So.
Oh, I saw the comment about the that's a really good point to make, that the ink is translucent. So that's going to be a big part of it. That's a part of why it is that on a darker or a more muted color, you're going to get a lot less vibrant, and it's going to be the most pure on white. Yeah, because it's not going to cover up. And that's also a good point if you have, like, let's say you're trying to salvage something that's stained or there's a problem. You're not going to be covering it up. That's where the scan and cut and the vinyl comes in. That you can cover stuff up with. And I've done that before. I had a pair of pants that had a big old stain, and I used vinyl and my scan and cut to make a patch.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Whatever you got to do. You could do some embroidery too. Embroidery works really well to cover up a stain that won't come out.
I was just thinking, that's a good idea, May. You know, Win doesn't, I think he's out fishing right now, so he's not watching. So I can just say, he got olive oil all over his really nice shirt yesterday. I should do that because he was like, oh, I guess it's going in the trash. Well, I have some tricks to try to get the oil out, but I think I should put a bunch of patches on there. That's a great idea.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
I guess we would just need the brother fans to tell me what I should put on each patch, because I should probably put words or something, maybe from Artspira, because they've got some really cute embroidery designs. I don't know. This could be fun.
Well, it's already all done. Okay, so I am going to eject the mat, but I'm not going to take this off until I'm just kind of tilting it so I can see, and I'm just going to do a couple little checks here to make sure that things are peeling nicely. So what I'm doing here is just kind of tilting it towards the light so I can see what's going on. And it looks like we're good. We'll do one more little test. So if you're wondering, like, okay, well, why would you do the, well, you know, why are you checking? Because if for some reason something was if it wasn't quite gauged correctly somehow, one thing that could happen is, for example, where it tested, if the material was somehow significantly lighter in thickness, then it would have been putting less pressure. That's one of the reasons why you want all of your materials the same thickness if you're going to be cutting out multiple things. I'll scoot you over. I'll scoot you guys over. So I checked that before I lifted off the mat, because once I've lifted this off the mat, I can't recut it. Ooh, there we go. Once it's off the mat, it's done. It's what it is. I would have to manually make adjustments with, say, my scissors or something like that to get that fixed. And I am going to cut around carefully so that I don't cut into a pattern. I am going to separate these two because I want to save some of the excess vinyl. So by cutting around, it's going to make it easier for me to do that. I just need to keep tilting it towards the light to make sure I don't chop into my butterfly or into my summer. And I think, let's see, where are you?
Beverly says we should put a Italian phrase to cover the oil stain.
There you go.
There you go. And Julie wants to know, this is a good question. Have you, May, have you ever sublimated on HTV?
To my knowledge, there's not an HTV blank. If there is, if I just don't know about it, if there is, that's what you would need, is a blank. It needs to be a sublimation blank. So that's what you're looking for. If such a thing is there, do tell. That sounds like fun. But yes, if there is such a thing, then you can do sublimation printing on anything that is a sublimation blank. I know that there is some fabric. So if you were trying to do something and then sew, there are some fabrics, I'm pretty sure, that I've seen that are sublimation blank fabric. So you can do your transfer and then create whatever it is you're creating. This, oh my gosh, that was way too easy. Look how easy that was.
That's cute.
So I've got summer and then we've got our butterfly. The butterfly will take a little bit longer because it has a lot more interior bits and pieces. But the outside, I always do the outside first just so I know where I'm going and where I should be looking. On a butterfly like this that's going to be symmetrical, I'm also going to do one side and then the other so that I can kind of gauge what should I be expecting or what should I be looking for. So the big trick with this is just to kind of hold it up to the light in a way that you can see what's going on. And then very gently, you're just lifting and peeling. Now this one should be pretty easy because this pattern, you can actually make this particular pattern very, very small. So remember that you can make it teeny, teeny, tiny. And also remember, just for your sanity, if you're not one that likes weeding, I personally love weeding. I find it very relaxing. But then again, I do cross stitch. So like tedious doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, either pick a much simpler pattern or just work with your patterns in a larger scale. Like this is what, 3 times bigger than the original. So the pieces are all going to be much easier to weave because they're going to be larger. And obviously when things are larger and easier to see, it just makes everything a little bit easier. And you don't have to have a tool. A lot of times, especially like this one's being very cooperative, you can just gently kind of curve the material and then you're just kind of looking for where you see the little cuts, right? Because wherever you see the cuts, and now we're to the middle. So now we're going to be we're looking for the same pieces, this side to that side, which I feel like it makes it much easier to kind of know what you're looking for and not be guessing where it's going to be or what you might be looking for. You can also always go back to your scan and cut and review the pattern. If you feel like something doesn't look right or a piece is missing, you can look at that and sometimes it'll reveal like, oh yeah, okay, there was a whole nother bit there that I was supposed to do and I didn't notice it. That can also be very helpful. But we're almost done here, you guys. This is so much fun. So you can put as much time as you want into this. If you want to create custom patterns or upload your own magical designs, you certainly could. Or you can take what's there, what's built in, and make it your own. So here comes here comes this, and we're gonna do both of them. So this is a sublimation plate, but it's also just a pillowcase. So I can stick a pillow in there. If you're wanting to make your own stuff, of course, but also do sublimation, just remember you need to have sublimation material to go onto. And then it's up to me if I want it to be entirely on, if I want it to be off. I'm going to do the summer, because I think a summer pillowcase would be really cute on here. So remember that the backing is sticky on the HTV, so that kind of helps. So that kind of sticks it down there. And then I will just grab, we can grab any fabric I've got. So that's always the thing, is whichever fabric is on, happens to be on top of the pile today, is my pressing fabric. I like that one. I need to do something with that fabric. I think that's why it's on top of the pile. And then use your same heat press, or in my case, I'm putting pressure and pressing with my iron because I don't want to go in the other room and wait for the heat press to wake up and be off camera. So as a reminder, no, the iron will not work for sublimation. It does not get hot enough. You need the flat, because remember with the iron, you need the flat high heat of a heat press for the sublimation. So remember that. But the iron does work for heat transfer. And yes, I tried when I first got the sublimation to see if I could force the iron to work, and the answer was an enormous failure. No, 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 no. That does not work. So, and then we'll check. So if I check and you see how it's sticking still to the backing, that tells us that it's not hot enough and I didn't do enough yet. Sometimes that can be the case. Like this part looks like it's all good. I was putting more pressure and time there. So what I'll do is just kind of put my hand in the area where I know that I need work, or I think I might need work. So I can press there.
I love that fabric. That would be a fun one to do, like a fussy cut on the ScanNcut, wouldn't it, May? Cut out like a whole bunch of little things.
I know there's so many things I can do with that, but of course that's how it got here, I'm sure. So I had ideas. Look at that.
Oh,
I love the glimmer. And remember too, like they show on our Spirit, it showed a yellow on here. So you can always go the direction that they are going, or you can go your own direction if you have your own ideas and different thoughts there. And we'll do the other one too. We'll do the butterfly. So I thought for a zipper pouch, I don't necessarily want a season on here. So that's why I thought the butterfly would be good. And remember too, in addition to the built-ins, so I could put somebody's name, I could put, whatever I wanted. If I wanted like Summer Camp 2024 or the name of a place or a trip, whatever you would like, we can make it happen. I love that. I'm just really in love with this particular background. This sublimation background is so pretty. And there's so many ways to use it. Butterfly needs a little more time. Yep. Sometimes I think, I've pressed forever, and I really haven't. And then other times I think I haven't pressed very long, and I've been pressing plenty long enough. So remember, we're never in a hurry with these kinds of crafts. They're very quick and easy, generally speaking, but we're not going to be in a hurry because we don't want to either miss a step. Like, remember, we had to reverse the word summer so that it would cut correctly. So we don't want to be in too much of a hurry, but we also want to make sure we're not missing an important step, because I know I don't like things to be ruined when we're talking about a little bit more expensive materials like heat transfer vinyl or sublimation. And when I lifted this, the very corner here lifted, which just means it's not a big problem or anything. It just means I did not get that corner fully pressed. And this is benefit of a heat press, obviously. It's the even pressure, a set amount of time, and it always comes out just so. The iron, you're going to do a little more work, but you know what? It's also very convenient. I can bring my iron wherever I am. So I wouldn't say one is better than the other. It's just different tools, and depending on what you're doing and what you're making, there's always a different reason for a different tool. There we go. All right, there we are. Isn't that cute?
I love that.
I just love that sparkly aqua with the aqua to green to yellow background. And then you could, like we said, you could use it by itself. You could use part of it. There are so many different blanks. There are so many different things we could make, from ornaments. We can make ornaments. We can make pillowcases. We can make t-shirts. We can make keychains, zipper totes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So I think it's fun to have a couple of blanks and just see where it takes you. And I also think it's super fun that, you know, people think that it's harder than it is. So you're going to look very impressive with your sublimation. And it's so easy.
I love the fact that you can create collections. I mean,
yes,
we've seen everything from adding coffee mugs to little coasters. I love those little coasters. And
I do too.
Also having the bags. Just imagine, we have graduation coming up here shortly. At least I do in my family. Well, there's graduations all over, but you have graduations. It's wedding season. Of course, it's fishing season. So like things for the boat and so many other hobbies that we have, that you can coordinate everything and make it customizable to whatever you want. If you have a logo, if you have a color scheme, whatever. I just think it would cost so much money to order all of that you can make it very easily for an event, and then everybody gets to take home a gift or something like that. I mean, there's so many cool things. That butterfly would be beautiful, or everything you just did here would be beautiful for a summer party. And then your friends get to take home the coasters or whatever, you know?
I know. I love it. And I love that if you get one like background kind of design, you can have a cohesive look across different things. And remember too, you could use some things just the ScanNcut. So you could do some things like, say, paper banners, or more, I would think mostly like paper type things, right? That you could do with some of the same motifs that you're then going to combine with other stuff.
Everybody's saying so cute. Oh, garden flag, Patty, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, garden flag. I've seen blanks for garden flags, but again, I think you can do fabric too if you're trying to get a specific size or you're not liking the size they have.
And that what you just did there with that butterfly would be a gorgeous flag out there.
It would. It would. The same with the summer. If you had the word summer out there for your garden flag, boom, nice and easy, but beautiful.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Everybody's saying thank you, thank you. Oh, Dee says she has a friend making a quilt with all sublimation squares. That's going to be gorgeous.
That's going to be wonderful. Oh my gosh.
I know. Well, make sure, guys, when you're doing this, use #BrothersSews and #BrothersScanNcut so they can see it, because they love to see what you're creating. And so do we. So May and I both love to go back, tag us if you post the photos, because it's great.
Oh, definitely. I always love seeing what people dream up.
So much. Any questions for May, guys? Because we were actually live today. We had a few that we had to pre-record recently because there was a couple events. So it's so nice to see everybody in person, right?
Oh, it is. I love going live. We always have the most fun.
All right. I think I'm going to just add this right here. So May, any new videos on your YouTube channel you want to let everybody know about, or what's going on?
Well, we're live right now. So actually I have 2 of them coming. They're not up later this week. There'll be 2 new ones up actually. I've been busy. I just haven't been doing the editing. As it sometimes happens. It's been beautiful weather with the exception of the rainy day. So I've been outside so much that I went, you know, you should finish your editing. You have videos ready.
Oh, yeah. Editing's always the least favorite part. But we love doing the videos and the live so we can see it. Beverly, that's a great idea. Sublimation behind the embroidery.
Yes.
Ooh.
Actually, I think this exact one would be beautiful. I know
Yeah.
and that's how it goes though for me is I'll get a pattern like this little painted background and it'll be my favorite for a while and it's all I want to use. And then I'll get a new favorite.
Well, those colors are perfect for the holiday. Well, I say holiday. It's the summer holiday. That's kind of what I always think about. Everybody's getting out of school soon. It's summer fun. All right, May, this was an awesome project. And everyone watching, thank you so much. If you would like a topic, make sure you leave it below so we know what you want to see next. And brother, thanks for letting us take over your page. Until next time.
It's so much fun to see everybody.
It's so nice. Until next time, happy sewing and crafting in May. I cannot wait to see what you've got up next. Bye.